how beautiful it is to be here now and to celebrate the ups and downs of this beautifully wicked life that we've been given and that we've chosen to incarnate in this lifetime. After so long of going through the darkness and searching for that light and that love, I finally have arrived at the place that I am now. And I am just so grateful for everything, from the dark to the light and everywhere in between. Because without each and every single person who I've experienced this journey with, I would not be who I am today. And I wouldn't be who I am today without choosing to be brave, to face my fears head on and to figure out what to do about it and how to move forward so that I can continue to live my dreams and grant everybody else's wishes along the way. Oh, wow, this last week actually has been so intense, so incredibly profound, and full of just deep surrender. I believe in fate, and there are 3 fates in mythology who are called Clotho. I've put myself on the spot. But there are 3 fates in mythology. They are in the Hercules movie, and they come from Greek mythology. They are the 3 fates who who weave and sew and thread the web of life together. I feel that as a dream weaver, that is a part of who I am. And what I do when I have sessions with people, whether it's a personalized session that incorporates personal development and spirituality, or a full spiritual, psychic, fortune teller, gypsy, genie embodiment and session. But at the end of the day, one thing that I've always been strong with and felt so deeply as who I am and a part of my soul from this life is dreams, and realizing how important our dreams are, our subconscious speaking to us, and then also knowing that our life can be like a nightmare or it can be this incredible dream, that sometimes we need to pinch ourselves to know that we're here, that we're alive, and that we're awake. I've been having deja vu so much lately that, and also in a different way, where it's no longer how I used to feel it. It's almost identical to my waking life. And I used to be scared of this happening. I used to be scared of, well, if I'm seeing all these energies and I'm seeing all these beings and plant life and everything just being so alive like it is when I dream, and then some, then how do I know that I'm truly living in my waking life? It really was scary to think about the abilities that we have and how we can visualize and manifest, but also tap into the other vibrations of life. For example, ghosts would be the most common. And then to have the thought that Western society has put into our mind that we're crazy or mentally ill or schizophrenic, and put all these negative and actually quite horrible connotations on us, to restrict us from living in our fullest and highest potential, and to experience it externally, not only internally, to the depth that we desire. And I'm now unafraid of embodying and living in my full power. It's taken me 28 years to come back to where I was when I first was born. And basically when I was born, I had this remembrance that I was my dad, and then I was my mom, and I came out through my mom, and I was given to my grandma, my mother's mom, Anna. And she was holding me and cradling me, and I looked up at her, and in her heart, from her heart chakra, I saw this beautiful golden rainbow light, just in glittery, sparkly light, electric currents, energy coming out of her heart, and feeling that was the first time that I felt pure, unconditional love. And she has held me. She has been my entire emotional support from my entire family for so many years, until I could be that for myself and create more people around me. She's like my fairy godmother. She's my grandmother. Sometimes she's felt like my mother. I know that we have lived many, many lives together. And I'm so proud and so happy to have incarnated in the family that I have, because they are so, so beautiful. And I don't even think they know it. It's like I was given this big capacity to love and to share and to be, so that I could set an example for them of what true pure love is, and vice versa to me. I've come to them from the light, of course the shadow aspects too, and they've come to me from the darkness and the light as well. And I didn't realize how much we have been in the same place, in different ways, in similar ways. I've always loved my family so much. And once upon a time, we were incredibly fucking toxic to each other. All of us, no exceptions. We didn't know any better. But I knew that if I stayed in that place, I wouldn't grow, and neither would they. I knew I had to leave and move out. And even though I moved into an equally toxic environment as where I was, at least it was a step forward, a really small stepping stone that was the beginning of the rest of my life. The life that I created for myself as I was breaking down and reconstructing my beliefs, my values, my attitude, who I was, who I truly was, not who other people have said that I was to be or needed to be for them, or the reflections and projections that they put onto me that almost always were just a reflection of them. I've always been a mirror and I've always been a catalyst. And when I was very young, I remember saying, possibly to my uncle, something, the truth. And he said, no, don't be silly. And that very moment was the moment that my intuition was hindered. And it was hindered for so long, and I didn't know why. And I didn't trust myself, but I had this other feeling, this other aspect of me that was like, yes, this is the truth. You know it's the truth. Why are you doubting yourself? Why are you hesitating? You know it's the truth. Why do you need confirmation from somebody else? Claircognizance was one of my very first abilities that I received in this lifetime, along with seeing externally from my eyes into this physical reality, as I was saying before with my birth memory. I came into this world fully awake and aware, as many who have come before me. And I've thought to myself, I was called an indigo child for a very long time. And I thought, well, that's not me. I'm not rebellious. I don't change society. And then on reflection, when I look back at high school in particular, not every teacher, but there was a lot of teachers, for some reason, they just had something negative against me, and I couldn't understand. Not just teachers, but students. I was bullied so much, and all I was doing was being myself. And I was told, you're a know-it-all, you're annoying. Oh my God, the annoying. The annoying is something that teaches us. And do you know what? Even to yesterday, I still had continued to call myself annoying. What does that even do for your soul? If you're told all these things continuously, whether you are it or not, you take it on board and you feel, oh, you know what? This is a part of who I am. It damages us and it creates unnecessary dis-ease in our body and our mind that we carry with us until that day that we become aware of it and we are fully happy to let it go. Because we're done. We are absolutely fucking done with being told who we are, when in truth we already know. We already are who we are. We were born into this world being fully who we are. And once it made me very angry. But instead of being angry, I went into depression. And I remember writing and drawing really hard, really depressing stuff. Gravestones in my art books. Not knowing how to ask for help. Having my voice taken away from me. Allowing other people to take my voice away from me. Because I didn't know any better. I didn't have the words to talk to people about it. My mum, she talked to me. She talked for me for so long because I didn't have the words. And I thought that talking and speech was one of my biggest gifts. But the one that went unnoticed, that I've just realized recently, is actually feeling, and how strongly and how deeply I've felt, how emotional I have been, and told that it was a bad thing, or that it was unnecessary, or there was no place for my emotional sensitivity, that I was too much, that I was too little, and then, you know, a fucking real life Alice in Wonderland. Who are they to tell me who I am? And then for me to believe this bullshit and continue living it as if it were my truth. No wonder so many people are fucking lost. Is it any wonder, really? Think about your life and what you've endured or had to endure because of other people, and not having that education, because the schooling system doesn't give it to us. And our parents, they do the best that they can, but they still are living from the other paradigm. The old paradigm of fear and lack, scarcity, and disempowerment. How much hurt has society, how much hurt have you and I been through because of this illusion that we need other people to tell us who we are, or society dictate who we are, and all the subliminal messages that they put in the radio, in magazines, in television, in movies. We can see just how far we've come as a collective when we look at the ads and the products and the way that society has spoken to us subconsciously and consciously through our lives, and where we actually are and what we're experiencing today. It's not perfect, no. Not in the way of being for our highest good in all ways, all the time. But it is perfect for where we need to be right now as a collective. If you want to change the world, you need to first look within yourself. There is absolutely nothing that we can do for somebody else. In fact, there is a lot we can do for other people when we're not operating at our fullest potential. So, let me rephrase. To fully help somebody to completely transmute and shift their life, of course when they're ready, open and willing, we need to be doing it for ourselves and practicing what we preach, taking our own advice. How many times have you seen or been talking to a friend or a stranger even, and they give you this really incredible advice, but then you look at their lives and what they're doing, and you don't really want to take on this advice, or you don't trust this advice because you can see that they're not living their truth. This is what happens subconsciously, unless you're aware of your subconscious. So, you know how you go in the airplane and you are told by the stewardess, in a crisis situation, the plane's going down, put on your oxygen mask first before assisting somebody with theirs. This is because if we aren't breathing, if we aren't in the best position for us to be in. We can't help somebody else. If we put somebody else's oxygen mask on before our own, we may very well die. Without breathing, we die. Safety is so, so important. And honestly, it is taken for granted so much. And it makes me, well, it used to make me angry. Now it just makes me passionate and very fucking motivated to share what I know. And in my circles, in my practices, in my workshops, in my everyday life, to make sure that my safety comes first before going and giving my heart and my energy and my resources to others. I deserve my own love and affection. And as do you. Think about it this way. If everybody met their own needs to the best of their ability, then there will be this much left over that we can support each other through. And then guess what? We can spend more time celebrating life together instead of talking about drama and worries and fuck. I don't even want to talk about them anymore. I don't need to. I have clear direction and focus in my life. And to be honest, I have. Since 2014, I had this massive vision of what the future held for me and for my partner. I just didn't know how to get there. And since then, I have slowly worked back, and from the beginning, moved forward and back to find these little puzzle pieces and start putting them together. I went back all the way through my timeline in this lifetime, and I had a look at the puzzle pieces, or the dot points that lit up, that were the most transitional points for me in my life, who have shaped me to be who I am today. The most traumatic events and the happiest. But for the most part, the most traumatic, or the parts that I realized I didn't want what I thought I wanted. And now, coming through the other side of the rainbow, I can see how those points, that darkness was truly light and truly a gift to show me how to piece the puzzle pieces together and see the bigger picture. We are always so loved and so supported and incredibly guided from our family, our friends, people who mistreat us and show us how much, or what our standard of self-love, self-worth, and self-respect is. All the different teachers that we've had in our lives, be it their label was teacher, or just all the people we've encountered. We're constantly learning and sharing with each other throughout our whole lives, and people don't know unless they've tuned into themselves, have connected their energy from the earth through us into the universe, so that we can be and live as that pure vessel that we are. What a life. There is still way too much suffering in this world. What we can do for each other is to go within, to ask ourselves what we need, what we love, what we value, what we desire, what we believe, and ask ourselves, is this serving my highest good? Is this coming from a place of my heart, or an integrated mind, heart, and body, from my soul space? Am I living from that space? Or am I living from fear, doubt, lack, insecurities, worry? And then when you've figured out those answers, ask yourself this: what do I need right now, in this moment, to move forward? Who am I right now? You're not your stories. You're not your doubts. You're not your fears. You're not your insecurities. All those are keys to moving forward. They are our teachers that we have no understanding, or we haven't been taught what this actually means, and how to sit with it and feel it, to transmute it. There is always a lesson, a remembrance in what we experience. And in case you've forgotten, you are the creator of your own reality, as well as a co-creator of this beautiful world that we live in. What are you taking for granted? Is it yourself? Is it your partner? Is it your home? The beautiful spaces that this world provides for us to experience, that we don't get to experience fully because we're so in our head that even when we're in a beautiful place with beautiful people, we choose to spend our time rehashing the past, not making time for what is truly important in this life. Do you feel, or have you ever felt, that you're wasting your time, that you're wasting your life? All those thoughts of depression and suicide and anxiety, all the ways that we allow other people to hold us back and we hold ourselves back. There is no excuses anymore. None. If you want to truly transmute and shift and change your life, it begins with you. Nobody else can help you until you help yourself. And the people who choose to journey with you, helping you before they help themselves, you have a lesson to learn with them. And guess what? You don't have to learn this lesson the hard way. You have a choice. You always have a choice. Even when you feel like you don't have a choice. The time is over. The time is over for blaming, for shaming, for victimizing, for being the victim. The time has come for you to step into your power and fully be, express, see, hear, feel, understand who you are, who others are, your place in this beautiful world, in this beautiful universe, and what you actually came here to do. I say this with so much love. If you're triggered from anything that I've said, have a deeper look into why. Because as I said at the beginning, I'm a mirror for those who choose to utilize me as a mirror. And I want to remind you again that you're not your stories. Those negative stories that continue to play out in your mind, in the world, being reflected in the world, need to go. Are you done with them yet? Would you like to bring peace into your heart and peace into your life? Would you like to bring harmony into your life? Would you like to live with harmony? Would you like to live in the highest, lightest and brightest vibrations? Or do you choose... and also I'd like to add that the darkness, once you go through the shadow traits of yourself and the reactions, the activations that you're being triggered by your whole life, whether it be from yourself in your own mind or from other people, it doesn't matter, because we are all one and we are all assisting each other in moving forward, in uplifting humanity. You get to live in your happy wobble. The perfect vibrational alignment for you to receive, to give and receive openly, lovingly, and freely what you need, deserve, and what your heart desires. But so much more, because there is no more limitation. There is no more holding back. There is just pure living with joy, with so much joy. I didn't even know. I couldn't even have imagined, and I have a really great imagination, how much joy is actually possible. Because even though I was living from fear and lack and scarcity and unworthiness for so much of my life, I was always feeling in my soul that there is so much more than what I was experiencing. And that magnetic pull is what moved me forward, what gave me that motivation, that confidence, that knowing that truth. And now, having embodied that truth, I get the privilege, the honor to share what I know with other people. And sometimes it will be serious and it may be difficult, but I promise you that when you commit to yourself, everyone has all the patience in the world who is in alignment with you, to be there for you, to hold space for you, to support you, because you are choosing to do the work, the soul work, to live your true, authentic self, your true soul path and purpose. There are so many signs and synchronicities and messages to be deciphered. This is why it helps us to have a guide, to have a teacher or a guardian or a mentor or a guru, if you would like to call them that. At the end of the day, we all need somebody other than ourselves to reflect upon. Once we know our truth, we are then able to fully embody it, to feel the benefits of living in our authentic wisdom, so that we can assist others to do the same and send those beautiful, positive, pure positive ripples throughout the entire world and universe, bringing all that pure positive source energy to us and constantly recycling it with everybody and uplifting humanity once and for all. The time is now. What do you choose? Infinite love, gratitude, and peace, always, in all ways. We are whole. We are released. We are whole. We are released. Now